the game, 'cause I got high hopes.
Hey everyone, Ivan LaCroix here, and welcome to the TRC Media Access event, a great week-long celebration of anything that's detailing and bringing the world together thanks to the Rag Company. So thanks for having me. Now, one of the reasons they invited me was to let you know what's going on with me. Yes, normally I don't like talking about myself, but unfortunately they're forcing me to do so. And in doing so, I'm going to be explaining to you what's happening with me in the next couple years probably. As you know, I'm semi-retired, enjoying life, traveling around in a bus, but traveling around in a bus isn't happening right now because the borders are closed. What I'm doing instead is I'm actually focusing on starting a new YouTube channel called the Detailer's Business Academy. The Detailer's Business Academy, very simple. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there, great ones, that focus on the products of detailing, the mechanics of detailing, how to do this, how to do that, different tips and tricks. They're all great. They're all a really valuable resource for you. But one resource that I found was lacking on YouTube, or on the internet for that matter, is business structure. And the Detailer's Business Academy, I'll be focusing with guests on how to build the business of detailing, how to grow your business, how to hire employees, how to fire employees, how to scale your business, how to advertise, all these wonderful things. And primarily, how to get balance in your life. I'm very saddened every time I see someone saying, oh, I'm grinding it out, I'm doing this, I'm, nose to the grindstone, getting things done. That's not necessarily the best way. For myself, I don't like working. I enjoy what I do, and I haven't worked for 40 years because I really enjoy what I do. But I also enjoy spending time with my family. I enjoy my leisure activities. I enjoy all sorts of different things in life. I enjoy life. And I want detailers to be able to focus on enjoying life, not just building their detailing business. There's a lot of different things we can do to help build that business, and that's what I'm going to be doing on the Detailer's Business Academy YouTube channel. Now, the channel is just up 1 or 2 days now. Not a lot of videos on it. There's one. But those videos will be growing. I'll be adding many more in the coming weeks and months, and we'll be growing that channel specifically for you, for the detailing community to grow the business. Whether you have a shop, whether you have a mobile business, whether you're by yourself or have 50 employees, doesn't matter. I'm here for you. Also, if you want, I do individual coaching, and once we can get this bus back on the road and rolling again, we'll be continuing with our classes around the globe. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the Rag Company Media Access event, and if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Thanks.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day 3.
Day 3, baby. We're here. We made it.
We made it.
3 days in.
I'm still pretty tired, but thanks to our friends of the program, our new sponsor for TRCMA.
Are you going to do that every day? You're going to do that every day?
I'm going to do that every
okay,
day.
all right.
Our friends at Pepsi have brought us a lot of Pepsis, a lot of Bangs,
Yes,
some bubbly, some Gatorade, some Aquafina.
We've been artificially energized.
Keeping this team going. So
They are.
thank you to them. Also, thank you to our corporate sponsor, Koenig Wheels.
Yes.
Mamba Racing, Mamba Wheels, Mamba Off-Road, and Advanti Racing. I mean, just some phenomenal wheel brands that have been able to come in and help us out for this whole event for you guys. And then our guests of the program have actually been staying at the Home to Suites by Hilton. So another great thing. Chris West said it was his most comfortable night's sleep ever.
I think everybody's been saying that, which has actually been pretty nice. They say it has a great breakfast, right?
Great
Say they feel
breakfast.
like they're at home.
Yep.
And it's good to hear.
It's great. But the point is, guys, thank you for joining us for day 3 of TRCMA, the Rag Company Media Access. Today we got a crazy good show for you.
We do.
So, Dane, what's going on?
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the morning of day 3 here. I've got some stuff going on for you. I have
Not available.
IK sprayers.
On there. So
I've got Colourlock happening today, and that's for the morning section. Now, after the morning section is concluded, we're turning over to the afternoon with Lake Country Manufacturing and LC Power Tools.
right, guys, and welcome back. Joining me today for the IK sprayer presentation is Jay Touro, the National Sales Manager for Goizper North America. Welcome, man.
Thanks for having me, Anthony. I appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. So I figured, what better way to talk about IK sprayers than to have me, as you've seen in so many videos, do breakdowns and talk about the sprayers and show you all the different functions and the dilutions and everything like that, then just talk about it, right? And get through everything from start to finish. And
Sounds good.
I think there is quite a bit to talk about. And I know a lot of people that are new to the IK sprayer lineup probably have questions, right? And for that, we're actually be bringing in Goizper, right, in Spain, right? We're going to have the creator of the IK sprayers being able to chime in and being able to talk about the sprayers themselves. And so I want this to be very open and a lot of Q&A. So if you guys have questions about the sprayers, feel free to start leaving those in the comments now, because I want to start answering those with the help of the team in Spain over there. So this should be an absolute blast. We're going to have a lot of fun. I am going to do a couple different presentations on 3 of the sprayers. We're going to be pulling in the IK multi-trigger sprayer, the TR sprayer, as well as the IK Foam Pro 2 and the IK Foam Pro 12. And we're going to be doing a little demo here on Levi's dad's car that has seen quite a bit of foam here in the last few days, but a little more won't hurt anything, right?
Won't hurt anything.
Not hurt anything at all. So getting into this, right? IK sprayers. They've been around for about 70 years,
About 70 years.
Since the 1950s, and they've been making sprayers for a lot of agriculture, a lot of industrial, a lot of janitorial cleaning in all sorts of different shapes and forms. But only recently did they actually get into the detailing area, right, and get into the detailing market. And that was something that happened just less than 4 years ago, about
Certainly.
2016, 2017.
We came over to North America with our IK brand in the auto detailing industry around then, and ever since then we've hooked up with the rag company, and you guys have took us to the next level.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really appreciate you guys
Thank
having
you.
us here for TRCMA.
Heck
And
yeah,
it looks like a
man.
good time. It's nice to meet everyone. It's
Yeah.
been a good time. I joined Goizper Spraying North America this year, early in 2020. And part of my training was watching your guys' YouTube videos and on your websites, on your
awesome.
podcasts, and it helped me out a lot with my training. And it's been a great thing to learn, and it's just the future is going to be great for us together.
Heck
and
yeah.
I look forward to it. So
And here we are, man. Here you are at the TRC
I know.
HQ, right? That's pretty unreal. And so, as you can tell, that this entire media studio has come a long way.
It's certainly-
right? And
it's incredible.
One of the biggest things, right, as when we were building the studio, I said, I want to be able to spray foam inside. I want to be able to use an IK sprayer in 70-degree weather, right? Not always being out there in the freezing cold, because, guys, a lot of those videos that we've filmed, right, we'd be out there in 20-degree weather foaming things, and it would get a little frigid, right? And we have to work pretty quick. And so being here in a more controlled environment makes things easier to test. We also have a better and more fun time. So
Certainly.
starting to break this down, right, what we want to do is start diving into each of the sprayers and talking about the necessity of the sprayers, why you would need them, what you would use them for, and why they make sense in detailing, right?
Certainly.
So I want to start off with the newest stuff first here, and this is going to be the IK trigger sprayers. These have just been released here within the last few months, and these have been kind of taken the detailing world by storm, because this is a high quality trigger sprayer for an affordable price that has fantastic output and ultimately is structurally rigid, is a very durable sprayer. And so a lot of people saw this in the pictures and they think not only is this aesthetically pleasing, right, but they want to use this. They want to see what that trigger action feels like, and they want to see how this feels in the hand.
Correct.
And so with these trigger sprayers being released, this was something that actually Ibon as well as Mikkel is going to go into more in depth on why they decided to create the trigger sprayer. I'm more going to talk about what they are and why I like to use them and how I like to use them. So we have the hydrocarbon sprayer here, and we have the IK multi-trigger sprayer here. Now, this is something where, so basically, this is going to be something to where you can choose which route you want to go, right? If you want to go with the hydrocarbon sprayer, you can. This is going to be more for your hydrocarbon-based products, right? So this is going to be things like kerosene. This is things like, not that you'd put gasoline in this, but you probably could put gasoline in this. It's going to be for other type of solvents, whereas the IK multi-sprayer is actually going to be for the full spectrum of things. And I really want to make that very clear to people that this is not going to be just for acids, but it can also be used to an alkaline point, right?
Correct.
And so it's going to cover that full spectrum. But people do ask all the time, Anthony, can you put water in this hydrocarbon sprayer? Absolutely. You can put water in this for sure. And you can put other chemicals in there as well. I just don't want to limit this to purely hydrocarbons, but that's why it was created. And so what I typically like to do, I keep like any type of alcohols in here. I actually do have kerosene that I use to clean my motorcycle chains with, and I like to put it in a hydrocarbon bottle. Now for the multi, this is what I have the most of, and this is what most people are going to have the most of within their lineup, right? So everything from brake cleaners, not brake cleaners, from brake busters, I guess I should say, to bead maker, to ONR, to any other type of spray sealant, to any type of waterless wash. This is going to be the go-to, and so most people have been picking up the IK trigger sprayers, the multi-version, in droves, and they've been buying 5 to 10 to 15 at a time, right?
People have been very excited ever since the launch of these, and they're looking forward to them now that they're out, and it's going to be a good seller for us.
I think so. And so a couple of features of this, and I'm going to let a lot of the technical team go into a lot of the extra stuff, but just right off the bat, what you're going to have on here is you're going to have a label. You're going to be able to flip this label. It's got two sides. Pull that up. It's got a green side, and it's got a reddish orange. What do you call that?
I'd say red.
It's like a red. It's like a red. I look at it like it's like a nice deep orange, but I think it looks pretty dang good. And that just slides right down back inside here, and you're able to basically have your products labeled. And
Definitely
so
a nice feature to have.
it is a nice feature, and I think people overlook that because most of the time, at least before these bottles existed, and you had these nice little label features, I was just taking a Sharpie and writing on the side of my bottles. Right. I say, yeah, that's good enough, right? But these have a fantastic spray pattern. They're very durable. They feel fantastic in the hand. The biggest thing I tell people about these, right? do not overfill to the point of discomfort. These have a large capacity. These can hold a lot of liquid, but if you're getting to the point where this thing's heavy or it feels uncomfortable to use, drop a little bit out, right? Take a little bit of that liquid out and use it to where it's comfortable, right? Use it to where you enjoy using it. And but other than that, I like the no-tip base because I set trigger sprayers down all the time. They fall.
Done.
I break a trigger. It's not a good time, right? Nope. But these, for the most part, man, I've dropped them from about 3 feet high. They've survived. I've dropped them from about 4 feet high. They've survived. I haven't felt comfortable dropping them from any higher than that point because I'm like, this is a nice sprayer and I don't actually want to break it. But I do want to test the durability to a certain degree, right? And so we're going to cover on these in just a little bit. I'm going to show you an actual example of the spray pattern that these produce. But going next in line here, we have the Multi Pro 2. This has been around for a little over a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And this was a successor to the Multi 1.5.
Correct.
And for the multi sprayer, a lot of people get this confused with the IK Foam Pro 2, right? So the Multi Pro 2 is going to be a liquid only sprayer. This is going to be something that you are simply just spraying liquid. So everything from water to maybe ONR, you can spray waterless washes, things like that. You can even spray all-purpose cleaners. You can spray brake cleaner or brake buster. You can spray wheel cleaners. It's just, this is not going to foam whatever it puts out. It's always going to be sprayed in a liquid form. And so, Jay, do you think that these move quite a bit more in comparison to the foam sprayers, or do people kind of like to have a 50-50 mix, or is it more like a 30-70?
I would think like a 50-50 mix. You see a lot of people that are really like the foamers as compared to the multi, but both people buy them both for certain different applications.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that for me, the multi-sprayer, that comes to play when I'm using a clay lube, right? And so when I'm claying a car, I think more clay lube or more liquid on the surface is best for me because it reduces any drag from my clay bar. It also keeps the process moving along. And when it's in a pump sprayer, I feel like my output is so much greater and I feel like I can keep going for a longer period of time. So I use ONR in here as my clay lube. You can use other different types of clay lube as well. But what's really cool about that conical shaped sprayer is you can actually twist that inward, right, and get that towards a really, really, really tight misting spray pattern.
Get the nice mist. You get the good stream the opposite direction.
Yep,
so
yep.
Get
And
both.
when I like to mist a surface, right, especially when I'm claying, I mist an area, and then from there, I have full coverage of that mist. And so I could see the mist on the surface, and that's when I could take my clay bar or my clay towel and know exactly where I've gone during that mechanical decontamination process. And that's huge for me, right? My eyes aren't as good as they once were. Actually, I don't think they've ever been good, but that's besides the point, right? The fact is that I'm able to clay with accuracy, which is a big thing for me, but also it's actually great for small rinsing jobs. So if it comes down to wheel cleaning and you want to foam something, you can absolutely rinse with the Multi Pro 2. It's just going to take a little longer.
Correct.
Right? So it's kind of up to you, right? I think that this is extremely useful, probably arguably just as useful as the Foam Pro 2, maybe even more useful for you depending on what kind of chemicals you're using and what your shop is actually like. So to be honest, there's not a lot that can go wrong with the multi-sprayer. It's not that complicated in comparison to the Foam Pro 2, which actually has to atomize the product. This is simply
ratings
spraying
and things like that.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So I tell people don't put a gel in the Multi Pro 2, but anything that's actually extremely liquidy or just like water, you're fine. You don't have to worry about it, right?
Perfect for it.
So that's when we're going to jump into, I don't want to call it the star of the show, but I do want to call it, something that gets the most attention. People see this and it's extremely eye-grabbing, and they see this foam sprayer, this pump handheld sprayer that's able to produce such good foam. They want to know more about it, and so that's going to be the IK Foam Pro 2 here. Now this, fun fact, we're going to actually kind of rewind a little bit. I don't want to bore everybody. This was one of the first examples of IK sprayers that I saw in person. And we stumbled across IK back in 2017, the SEMA show. It was actually IK's first SEMA that they went to, as well as, I think it was actually our first SEMA as well, our first physical where we had an actual booth. And I was just kind of moseying around, walking around, checking everything out within the tents, within all of the big exhibit halls and all of that. And I remember just getting lost. And I kind of said, I'm just going to go wander. And as I started wandering, I walked past the IK sprayer booth. And that's when I saw it was Ibon and Jim there. And they were just kind of showing things, showing things off. And I said, hey, what is this? And they said, oh, these are sprayers for cars. And I'm like, well, show me what you're talking about.
Right.
They had a little glass sheet there. They laid down some foam, and it was like instantaneous. I'm like, oh my God,
Clicked.
this is amazing. This is amazing. And so I said, give me your information. I want to know more about this. You know, give me your website, get everything, and I got to go tell the guys. So I rushed over to tell the rest of the TRC team, and I said, guys, I think I found something super cool. And they were like, okay, well, you know, it sounds interesting. Maybe we can get some samples sent out and test it out. And this was before IK had any real distributor within the US, right? And I was excited not just for that fact, but just for the fact that this is something that I wanted to use. I was excited to use it myself. And so I tell most people that a lot of the excitement that you see from me in the videos is genuine, true excitement, because I am a detailer. I am a car enthusiast. I do enjoy this kind of stuff. So this is just something that I really, really like. But what I want to do right now, though, before we start jumping into a little bit more of this, I do want to introduce, we got Maria, Ibon, and Mikel here on the other line over there in Spain. What's going on, guys?
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, hello. Welcome. How are we doing so far? Are we doing okay?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry because we have to wear the mask, but you know, we are a responsible company, and
don't follow our suit.
no, part of the protocol of protecting the workers is wearing the mask. So
yes,
I have to. If everything fine, we will be putting on and out, you know, all the time. But it's the way it works. So. We have to respect it.
And we totally understand, but we're glad to have you guys here. This is fantastic. So I'm going to kind of just do a brief rundown of the Foam Pro 2 and then the Foam Pro 12. I'm going to do a quick little segment just kind of showing off the differences between the foam. And then I really want to start diving into the technical aspects of these sprayers. And so thankfully we have Mikel there. And I want to talk about in depth the trigger sprayer, the Foam Pro 2 and the Foam Pro 12, as well as some future stuff that we can look forward to in possibly 2021. So I'm just going to kind of finish up with this, and then we'll get to asking questions. So guys, if you're watching this, please leave a comment down below. Any type of technical question, now is the time to ask. It really, really is. And so make sure to leave those down there. So anyway, IK Foam Pro 2, that's what caught, or the IK Foam 1.5 is what caught my eye, right? And that's where the Foam Pro 2 has been a successor to that. And this has been something that I'm really thankful that we've created such a relationship with IK, because what we've been able to do is be a good test bed for them, right? And so the Rad Company, being one of the first distributors in the world for the IK sprayers, they really take our opinion, right? They like to know what our thoughts are. And so every single one of these sprayers here has been sent to a prototype to us at the Rad Company months before it was ever released.
Whenever we have a new product, we like to send it to you guys, test it out, let us get your feedback and things like that, because we respect that, and you guys are a leader in the industry, and
thank you.
We value your opinion. So.
Thank you. And I'm brutally honest sometimes. Sometimes I'm a little bit too honest, but I want to make sure that we have something good, right? And I think that this lineup is absolutely killer, and I'm really happy with how everything has turned out from start to finish. And so from the 1.5s to the Foam Pro 2s, from the IK Foam 9 to the Foam Pro 12, I think everything has just been a very good rise to the top in terms of quality, output, and everything you would expect from a really high-end sprayer. So anyway, Foam Pro 2 here. I'm going to show you a quick example of this. So again, great looking sprayer. You have the trigger lock on it. You have the automatic release. And so this is a pump sprayer. For most people that don't realize this, this is not battery operated. It's not gas powered, right? It's not a two-stroke sprayer. You're not starting this thing up, right? This is a pump sprayer. And so you're pumping it up to create pressure. That pressure is there held in the canister. So you have a good mixture of air and liquid, right? And so there's different ports inside this that are able to suck up the liquid as well as suck in air to basically combine those two to put out that output of foam, right? Correct. And there is a filter inside this, right? The difference between the Multi Pro 2 and the IK Foam Pro 2 is you actually have a filter in this that is going to help create that foam and create that spray pattern. And so fantastic. This is going to be for people that are wanting to foam, that are wanting the extra lubrication, that are wanting to have that dwell time from whatever product they're using. So I tell people, if you are using something like a wheel cleaner or like Brake Buster or anything like that, the foam is going to give you the most dwell time in comparison to a sprayer, and it's also going to give you the most even amount of coverage. And so when it comes to trigger sprayers, God bless them, even though I love these so much, you're not going to get the same coverage.
You're not going to get the foam, exactly, or the coverage.
Yeah, and so this is going to lay down really good coverage. It's going to be able to dwell. You're going to have tons of lubrication. And so the IK Foam Pro 2 is my go-to for wheels. I like this for smaller jobs. If I'm cleaning wheels or if I'm cleaning carpets or anything like that, you do have different foam settings. You have everything from dry foam to wet foam to the standard foam that you can utilize for different areas of the vehicle. So if you're doing interiors, I like the dry foam because not only does it lay down a good amount of foam that's going to cling to the surface, it's not going to saturate the surface.
Correct.
It's not going to get it too wet. And I'm able to agitate that with a brush, remove it with a microfiber towel, and leave that carpet dry or leave that seat dry.
And it'll be drier sooner.
Yep, and then the wet setting is what I like to use for wheels, but this is also fantastic for undercarriages. It's fantastic for fender wells, anything like that, to where you don't really need to bust out the big guy. And so, getting into that, the IK Foam Pro 12, right? The difference between these two is going to be capacity and output and the amount of pressure, right? So the IK Foam Pro 12 is going to be the foamer that I would use to foam an entire car.
Certainly, this is your workhorse.
Yep, and if I was using this, it's going to take me a little
Yep,
little
bit longer, yeah, probably 3-4 tankfuls.
So that's where it's kind of like you can foam an entire car with this. It's just a matter of if you really want to. And I really do think that the Foam Pro 12 is the better option for that, especially with the Schrader valve attachment. So being able to, our air compressor is kind of going off back there because it's saying, use me, you plug me in, let's get going, Anthony. But it really is a fantastic tool if you don't have a pressure washer with a foam can set up. So if you're doing this stuff in your driveway and you have a hose, great, you can rinse the car, right? You want to foam the car, use this guy. You're going to get better coverage of foam and a better foam with this than you're ever going to get with one of those, I don't want to call them janky, but you know what I'm talking about, the things that plug into your garden hose. It's not real foam. It's like bubbles that are not, it just doesn't look right, right?
It's not.
This is
Not as
going to
much
be
coverage.
This is going to be real foam. You're going to have better coverage with it, and you can absolutely foam an entire car. And I can typically foam an entire car 4 times around with one fill.
Exactly.
And so it does a very good job of kind of combining that air and that product to get the most out of it. And so hopefully that's going to give you a good rundown of kind of the lineup so far. Now this is just a small taste of what Goizper as a company has to offer. They really do make so many different sprayers. You guys have probably heard of the blue alky sprayers that some people love to talk about so much. There's also an entire industrial line. There's also an entire agricultural line, right? There's
Certainly.
backpack sprayers.
Landscaping, farming, all that.
Yeah, and so
Construction. Yeah, we got the alkaline handheld 1.5s, the HCs.
Yeah.
We got multi Pro 12s. So
Yeah. So it's the Multi Pro 12. That's one of those things where I'm like, guys, I want to carry the Multi Pro 12 because the output of that as a rinsing product is phenomenal. It actually really is good. It's just a matter of whether you guys would actually want the Multi Pro 12. So if that's something you would want, let us know down in the comments, and I'll talk to the guys, and I'll try to convince them into maybe bringing a couple on into inventory. So anyway, so getting straight into this, just doing a quick output test here. So I want to kind of show you guys, this is the trigger sprayer right here. I have just water inside here, but what's really cool is that this trigger, right, is able to not only put out an extremely high output of product, but it's also extremely adjustable, right? So at this point right now, I have it on the, I call it the dragon mist setting, or like the rolling fog setting.
Dragon mist?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It billows. It's something that like kind of just like finds its way onto a surface. And so for this, I'm just gonna kind of spray there. I don't want to spray you, Jay, but so when I spray this, the sprayer itself, the trigger itself has extremely good feedback. So when I pull that trigger, it feels good. It puts out a really good mist, and that is going to be on that tighter spray pattern, right? When I bring it inward, or outward, I guess I should say, that's when you're going to get more into that nice straight stream. I just sprayed my motorcycle, and that's like 15 feet away over there, 20 feet away. So if you get into a squirt gun battle, this might actually be...
You get some good distance on that.
This might be better than your Super Soaker,
Oh, certainly.
right? So anyway, in terms of spray pattern, this thing's fantastic. It works great with everything from wheel cleaners to rinseless washes to quick detailers, and you're going to get really good coverage. I think it is. I personally think this is setting a new bar in terms of trigger sprayers that are available on the market today. So much, in fact, that Matt from Assess Garage even said that he was going to start carrying these sprayers.
Correct.
And if he signs off on it, then you guys know they're good.
That's a good thing.
Now, quick little demo here. I'm sorry, Levi's dad's car. It's got to happen. It is going to happen. I'm going to spray probably this fender here, and then we're going to pressurize the IK Foam Pro 12 and actually spray that last bit of the quarter panel there. So anyways, pumping this up, I'm going to show you guys straight through. This is a pump sprayer. You're going to pump it up the way I like to see it. You can build muscle. You can alternate.
Definitely build some muscle.
So that way your forearms are the same size. So going back and forth here, I'm getting close to the top. And I tell people when it comes to dilution, it's the most important thing.
Certainly is.
Inside here right now, I have Pearl, a Pearl Auto Shampoo by PNS, and I have roughly 1.5 ounces, right, to the 49 ounces. That was the initial mix that we had. I've obviously used some since then, but less is always more. And I can't say that enough, guys. Brake Buster, right, a very popular foaming product within the IK Foam Pro 2, 10 to 1. All day long. If I see anybody saying 5 to 1 or 3 to 1 or 2 to 1, I will find you and I will hurt you. I will, because I don't want you doing that anymore. Please, 10 to 1. Stop doing that. So anyways, we're getting almost pressurized here, and you'll hear the pressure release valve. You hear that start to hiss a little bit, right?
Good to go.
So once it starts to pop, that's when you know we're good to go. So in terms of coverage here, I'm actually going to spray this from start to finish to show you how long you could spray this for and what's a realistic expectation for everybody that's watching. And that's pretty much where end of its life, right? People say, Anthony, how did you do that? My IK sprayer only sprays for like 5 seconds, right? How did you do that? Dilution, 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 dilution.
It's a science.
I can't explain that enough. I can't explain that enough. That is literally, that. If there's any magic involved, that's the magic,
Correct.
right? I'm not asking you to become a chemist. I'm saying read the instructions.
That seems to be one of our biggest problems is people not doing the dilution. That's why they're not getting the foam that they're looking for.
Yes, that's all it is, guys.
Right.
It's dilution. It's dilution and it's maintenance of the sprayer. Yes, this sprayer right here, this was opened just a couple days ago. However, I have maintenance videos on the sprayers. I actually released a maintenance video showing you a complete breakdown. Mikkel was probably rolling over saying, oh my God, he's showing too much, and I'm sorry.
He's taking too much apart.
Yeah, he's showing people too much stuff. He's showing people how the sausage is made. I'm sorry, but I want to show people how to maintain these things and how to clean them to get the most life out of them.
And
right?
we appreciate that.
But that was it. I mean, that was a fantastic spray pattern.
Certainly.
I was able to knock out, let's just say, 1/5 of this car here.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, could that have been 4 wheels? Yes.
Oh, certainly.
That could have easily been 4. That could have been 8 wheels, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how much foam coverage you're wanting. But that was fantastic. And
That was
so,
good coverage.
gosh, maybe I was just lucky because I was on camera today. Maybe that, or maybe
We'll take it.
sometimes I know what I'm doing. All right, so for this next part here, I'm sorry, I'm kind of walking away from you guys. We're going to be doing the IK Foam Pro 12. So this has been one of our workhorse models that we've had here in the studio for a year. We've had this in here for
Correct.
a year now, and we've been using this nonstop. And we've put pretty much every single thing through this, right? Everything from iron removers, we've put all-purpose cleaners, we've put wheel cleaners, we've put soaps, we've gone back to wheel cleaners, we've gone back and forth through a ton of different products, and this thing has held up fantastic. It really has. And so the biggest thing about the IK Foam Pro 12, the biggest takeaway is going to be that Schrader valve. If you have an air compressor, please, please, please use it, because you are going to get the best output possible.
Certainly.
Right? And can you pump this up, though?
Of course you can.
You can pump it up. Do you want to pump it up?
Why?
Why, right? Once you know that you can fill this thing up with an air compressor, it's kind of like, well, my arms are feeling kind of sore, so I don't really want to do that. So the air compressor was a huge improvement here with that.
It's
with
an
that
awesome
Schrader
feature
valve.
to have.
It's a very nice feature to have, especially for people that already have access to air, or people that are mobile, or people that are just wanting to get something done extremely fast. And we see a lot of shops picking these things up, mainly for the fact that it makes things like iron removers and it makes things like wheel cleaning extremely convenient. Because if you're doing production detailing, right, it's either you doing 15 to 20 trigger pulls, right, for a wheel cleaner, or going up to one wheel, hitting it, hitting it, hitting it, hitting it, setting it aside for 15 minutes, next car pulls in, right? Yeah. Wheel, 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 wheel. So it's a solution to something that people may be spending more time on than what they actually realize.
Certainly what was in mind when they came up with the idea.
So for this, I'm going to set this my wand aside here. I will admit that we aren't gentle with a lot of our sprayers. We do drop them. They're not fragile, so we're okay with it. So I'm going to take my air compressor line here over to my Schrader valve. Maybe the camera can pick this up, and we're going to be filling this up right here. And so for this, bring my trigger down. And that's at max pressure.
Sounds good.
That's what you want to hear. That hissing is a good thing. Don't worry, your sprayer is not going to blow up because it does have that automatic release valve. So we're going to be coming over here to this door, and I'm actually going to show you, Levi, I'm going to foam this car. Is that okay?
Go for it.
I'm going to do it.
Do it.
Are these windows closed? It'll be fine.
All of them are closed.
Okay, it's a classic, right? It can take it. So anyways, inside here we have pearl. Pearl mixed at 4 ounces to the fill line. We've been using this, so it's a little bit down in capacity, but it's the same dilution, right? So 4 ounces to the fill line of the IK Foam Pro 12. And just because this is starting to kind of melt over here, we're going to keep going. I think you guys get the point, right? I could have gone around the entire car easily, right? And it all depends on what kind of foam coverage you're wanting. For a mobile detailer, less is often more, right? The idea is to get that lubrication in there, right?
Certainly.
Not necessarily to create so much foam that you end up cleaning it up, because I'll admit I'm guilty of that. Whenever I use our foam cannon, I over foam, right? Because I think it looks so cool and it's so satisfying. But then there I am, right? Under the window cowl, blowing out foam, and I'm like, I can't get it all. It's still there. It's still there. This is a reasonable amount of foam that's going to do the job, right? It's going to create a nice sheeting effect. It's going to start pulling things off. And depending on what kind of foam that you're using, you're going to have different effects too, right? So if you're using a self-cleaning foam or an alkaline-based foam, this can handle it. And this is going to spray it on, and you're going to have that pre-treatment, that pre-clean happening. Whereas with a normal pH balanced foam, you're getting lubrication. So that's a big takeaway from that. So hopefully that's kind of brought people kind of up to speed here on what these things are and what they're capable of and why we like using them so much. And so what I want to do now is we're going to go ahead and pull in the IK team over in Spain, and I think we're ready to ask a few questions, answer a few questions. So guys, how did we do over there?
Good.
Well, I have no words, you know. You have to talk about everything.
I'm sorry, Ibon. I can't help it. I'm passionate about these sprayers, man.
Thank you. No, I mean, thanks a lot for all the explanations, and it's true. I don't really have anything more to add. You know, you have a remark on the word dilution, and dilution. That I think is one of the most important words, and as well as you, we receive thousands of questions about I'm not able to get the phone that the rack company guys are showing in their videos, and how can I do it? So we spend a lot of time trying to explain, and at the end of the day, the hardest thing is to I mean, we have thousands of foaming agents, and it's true that every single one has different features, and this is something that we recommend the user to play around a little bit. You know, using the different mixers and different dilution radius. You know, depending on the chemical, and this is, I think, something that they should ask sometimes to the chemical manufacturer, right?
Yes, absolutely. Well, and that's a big thing that you actually brought up there, right? So there is dilution recommendations from the chemical manufacturer, and I always say that if they give you for an all-purpose cleaner, they say this product can be diluted anywhere from 10 to 1, maybe to 30 to 1. That's your area that you want to play in, and you want to say, okay, well, let's try 10 to 1. It's too thick. All right, let's go 20 to 1. That's almost there. That 30 to 1 dilution may be the answer, right? It may sound like it's less cleaning power, but one thing you have to remember, guys, is that when you are aerating, when you are basically forcing air into this product, into this foaming agent, into this chemical, it is activating it at a much faster rate than if you were just to spray it on with a normal spray.
Correct.
And it's the same thing with Brake Buster by PNS Chemicals. Whenever we put it into the IK Foam Pro 2, it activates faster on the surface, meaning that those tires begin to brown and bloom quicker, right, than if I were just to spray it on normally. And so you have to remember, you're forcing air, it's being exposed to the outside, right, and it's starting to work much faster. And so sometimes less is more, and that less is more may actually work better than in a more concentrated form. And so, well, guys, over there, I guess a couple questions I have for you is, for all three of you, which is your favorite IK sprayer?
Okay, will I start?
well, we have
That's a difficult question.
I caught you off guard. You guys have to have a favorite. Everybody has a favorite child, right? No?
Yeah, sure. I'd go with the Foam Pro 2.
Okay.
I'm not sure what this guys will go with.
Actually, it's our bestseller right now. So yeah, I will say yeah. But Mikkel is the daddy of the family, so yeah, he has to.
Maybe I would say the 1.5.
The 1.5. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Okay. So he likes the firstborn child the best. I see how it works. I see how it works.
I think that you have talked about the love story. You know, when we first exhibit at the SHIMA show, it was 2016. And you came to our booth, and everybody knows what happened when it's your first time in the SHIMA show. You know, they put you in the middle of nowhere,
in the corner underneath the dark lights, right? Nobody can find you.
Yeah. Out of the cool pavilions, you know. Well, Jim and myself, we were there, you know, in our humble booth, you know, trying to make some foam to attract the attention of the people. Yeah. But yeah, we were lucky that you were there and you get I call it love at first sight, you know. And of course, you immediately you saw that the success that we could reach with this foamer, and at that time was the 1.5.
Yeah, it was 1.5.
Yeah, it was 1.5, and that was part of the help that the rack company has been doing to Goizper. And you said like, hey man, if you wanna be successful in the US market, you have to do things in the American way. You know, here the biggest is the best. You know, so you should think about making a bigger tank, a bigger sprayer. You know, this is like a toy. This is like a toy for Americans. So yeah, when I came home, you know, I talked to Mikkel, say, Mikkel, we have to do something. You know, I have people that fall in love with us, but you know, their boyfriends wanna get married, you know. So we need to create a bigger guy. So yeah, that was the reason why we launched the Foam Pro 2 was last year, and actually, yeah, I mean most of our sales have been derivated to the Foam Pro 2. Yeah, and we still have some market for the 1.5s, but the real successful and the product that has been boosting our sales has been the Foam Pro 2.
Yeah, absolutely, and I happen to agree with you. And so, it's one of those sprayers to where it's different. When people see a pump handheld foaming sprayer for the first time, it's very captivating. It's very attention grabbing, and I think and people want to play with it, right? It is. I don't want to say it's a toy. It's a tool, but it's a toy for detailers. It's fun. It makes it way more satisfying to clean, and I'll admit, I feel like when I'm foaming something, I feel like I can kind of just zen out, right? I can take a brush, I can take a cloth, I can take a wash mitt, and I can go in there and just kind of enjoy it, right? And enjoy that, and especially if the product smells good, then it's even more enjoyable, because when it foams, the smell goes through the air very, very fast, and so it is very, very nice. And so what I want to do from here, since we have all of the team here, and we have Mikkel, who is a wealth of knowledge. He is a genius. He's behind the mask. You guys can't tell, but he is literally, he is the godfather of the IK. And so I want to be able to pick his brain a little bit. And so Dane, do we have any questions?
We do have a large array of questions here. A lot of people who really love their sprayers, and then there's other people who think they have a hot tip on what can change or be improved or something. So we have kind of an array of stuff to look at. So if you guys are game, I'll go ahead and start putting some of these out there and running them by you.
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll start off with an easy one. We have a guy who likes to ask this question of us a lot. KM, is the blue IK Alky your all-time bestseller? He's always fascinated by the alkaline sprayer, which we do not carry, but he loves that blue color. He just likes the look of it.
No, when we first decide to develop a range of professional sprayers, the thing that we have to cover was probably everybody knows about it, is the pH scale, right? So most of the standard sprayers were covering, neutral chemicals, neutral-based chemicals, low pH, like 4 or 5 pH or 10, 11 pH. So the main problem was with the extreme alkaline products and with the extreme acidic-based products. So that was the reason why we decided to create 3 different lines, because the HC is out of the pH scale. But we decided to create the multi-line that covers from 1 pH till 11.5, and then we create the alkaline 1.5 that try to cover the most extreme alkaline product. Let's say 13.5, 14 pH, when we are talking about caustic soda or products really, really alkaline, right? Yeah. So we see that most of the detailers will say they move from the in between the 2 and 11, 12.5. So for all these people, I think we always recommend the multi, right? But there's sometimes people that want to spray acetones, or they want to spray alcohols, or really alkaline degreasers. In that case, we recommend the alkaline 1.5.
Okay. And here was his actual first question. I'm going to put that one up. Sorry, I got him a little backwards there, but he said, "Hey, TRC and IK, I love your products. Any news regarding lids for the multi and foam sprayer bottles? If so, will be the..." He asked it. This is a very common request amongst our customer base. I have no idea what it's like over there, but I know here people have been asking us for lids for these for years, just a screw-on lid.
Yeah, we've heard that too also in social networks, I think I'm going to leave this question to my colleagues, so they're developers.
No, it was one first thing is that depending on the product you're spraying, sometimes to mix, because you can leave some residues in the head of the sprayer, and when you mix it with something else that could damage the inside of the sprayer. That was one of the explanations why Mikkel didn't really want to offer that kind of lids. He didn't really want to mix residues of chemicals, the ones that you have in the tank, the ones that could leave in the head of the sprayer. That was one of, and well,
It doesn't make much sense, no? From our point of view, I mean.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're professional detailers, so maybe you can give us an explanation why people are looking for leads.
Anthony, go ahead and take that one.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not going to speak for the people here, Dane. I can't do that, right? That's
Sure
a lot
you
of pressure.
can.
I think that people probably want lids, mainly maybe to store product long term, right? Or maybe I'm guessing that there's people out there that have perhaps maybe broken the heads of their units, maybe, or something has happened where they say, okay, well, this might be a very good container to maybe store some pre-mixed solution or pre-mixed product. And it's more of a storage thing, right? It's more of a thing where detailers, once you have a dilution mixed up, right? Let's just say I have a quick detailer that I've diluted perfectly according to the instructions that say this needs to be diluted with distilled water 10-1, right? Now I'm limited to diluting that within a very small trigger sprayer that I have to do the whole, I have to use a funnel, I have to do, I'm basically turning into a chemist. Whereas somebody might be able to take the base of something like this, be able to mix their perfect dilution product, and they're stored in there, right? And
Makes sense to me.
And it is now just a storage solution. So for the guys over there at IK, I would say it's more of a storage thing, less of like a fancy thing. It's more of like a how can I make the best use of this extra container? How can I mix my product? And the other thing, I feel like I'm selling this to the guys. I'm sorry, guys, I'm throwing you under the bus here. But the other beauty about these things, you made them so damn well that they already have measurements on them.
People love those bottles.
So
like,
for people
it's
that
all
want
about
to
the
measure
bottles.
something, or they want to dilute something and store it, you're already halfway there. You've already made this amazing piece. All you need now is the lid to put it on. And so, I'm sorry, I've said too much.
It comes up all the time. I knew I just had to share that because what better time to ask than with you guys here.
Oh,
so.
Of course, Dane.
Well, all right. So let's
question.
see. I do have a few here. Let me take a look. Now, this one, I know you guys have talked in the past about the importance of like bottle design, like the shape and all that. I have here one where someone was looking for maybe a skinnier bottle design that they could fit into like a belt or something. But I imagine there's reasoning why or why not that could be the case.
Yeah, we've been asked for this too, or I don't know if it's in a belt or at least some storage. We've been asked if we know who sells this storage for the trigger bottles. Well, mainly, I think Mikael could go with this. Like, why the size? I guess they're asking, right, for our triggers. Why
Yeah, something more narrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that
We didn't want to have the same traditional sprayers. You see, this is why it's different also. But yeah, go ahead.
And I think it's always going to depend also on the purpose of the sprayer. If we want like a foamer or we want a standard sprayer, that's because something apart from dilution that we have been putting the stress on is air. You have been saying that, everybody knows that foam is the chemical, the foaming agent plus the air. So we need space for the air. So one of the complaints of our retailers is that they don't want to be fit anymore. They don't want to be pumping all the time. It's like, yeah, but the thing is that if we make the tank smaller and skinnier, what happens is that you wouldn't have space enough for the air. So you will have to be pumping more often even than now. So that is one of the handicaps, I would say, of the smaller sprayers for producing foam.
Gotcha.
No, that makes perfect sense.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And
one could,
go ahead.
If you do it narrower, it has less stability. I mean, you lose the stability.
Yeah,
the wider it is, it has a greater stability. So there is a point that it's not possible to make it narrower because you are losing the stability of the bottle.
Yeah, you want it to be stable. And that's something all your bottles have been very good at since the Pro Series, all that. People really like that they don't have to worry about bumping it and it just falling over and spilling. I've got a good one here that's interesting. This is actually from a guy whose cars are actually out in our studio. Brett here is asking, are the triggers on the TR1s strong enough to hang the bottle from, or do you recommend storing them on their base only?
That's a good question. I personally hang them by the trigger, but I don't hang them up filled to the top. So I'll do them half full, and I can hang them from the trigger, and I feel like that is safe, and I feel like they are stable enough to do that. But maybe the team at IK can speak to that as well.
I mean, the trials we made were by holding them were okay. So I mean, we don't think so. We're gonna face any problems by holding them
by the trigger. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I know I've also gotten some questions here. I'll just kind of paraphrase what I've seen in a few others where they talk about how on the new trigger sprayers, you've talked about developing new heads to go onto the trigger sprayer eventually. What's all the story with that?
Well, this has been a complicated year for
of course, absolutely.
For the world.
For the world, especially for the triggers, because it's probably one of the most demanded tool right now. Most of the manufacturers, they do ready-to-use products, disinfectants, and their demand have been booming in the last months. So that slow a little bit some of our projects and the launching of the trigger.
The triggers, yeah.
And it's true that we have been working from the point of view of ergonomics, and well, we could have a solution, but this is something that we better need to get the feedback in the market of this unit that we were just launching, and after getting the feedback, we will think about what kind of things we could improve, because it looks like it is a very simple sprayer, but there's a bunch of pieces. There's a bunch of molds that you have to produce for, and you need, I would say, millions of units for getting your money back, right? So this is something that it's not as easy as it seems. It's a very, very simple tool, but when you go to production, it's not a very cheap investment, right?
Yeah, and sometimes if you change some small parts here, maybe you need to update on the assembly lines. So you have to take into account the different things before changing this part. Yes. Because as Ibon have said. There is a lot of pieces that goes here inside, and we have to be careful to change before changing this part. The tank, it's easier, but the head is more delicate.
We have been focused on producing something robust. As you can see, most of the regular trigger sprayers you see in the market, they are like not. I would say not strong enough. In ours you can feel the difference. It's a very robust tank. We wanted the tank to be stable. That was the reason why we incorporate this vase. As Anthony said, we implemented this color tariff code, in order to allow the user to write down the product inside.
Yeah.
And
the content identifier system, we call it. Yeah.
I did
also
have a
the-
few questions about those content identifier labels that I could, if it's all right, if I could
Okay.
just ask those real quick. There were a couple.
Yeah.
Someone was interested to know if the color coding was specific to any European standards or if it was just something you guys decided was a good color code to have, and whether or not when you write on them, is it okay you can use maybe temporary markers or they have to be permanent?
Concerning first question, we decided the colors. We choose 4 different colors, and we decided among us. Yes, and we decided that 4 colors that are very very different, one from one another.
Okay.
And concerning the second question, I think that it's always better if you use a permanent mark in order to avoid to get removed easily, you know.
Yes.
Maybe,
And I did.
not with a mark, but always I think it's better with a permanent mark.
Okay, yeah, because I did have some people asking about replacement cards if they wanted to purchase more so that they could use them just right on it permanently and then get new ones that they could then slip in if something changes.
Yeah, they can for sure get new ones. So that's also what we like to talk about. That the IK sprayers have loads of spare parts and accessories. You can get them. I think you already have some, right? I think we just shipped like not long ago, and you already have them also in direct company.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Okay,
do.
this is-
And I was going to ask about the boxes in front of you there because we had some questions about those. They wanted to know what's in the boxes.
Right. So I think, this one here, they're like they're spare parts. We call them maintenance kits, and we say maintenance because it's very important to keep to make a checkup in your sprayers. Okay, once in a while, if you're using it all the time. For example, one of the main problems with the Foam Pro 2 that's happening, it's not only the dilution ratio, what we were talking about before with Anthony, is a dilution. Also, it's the felt, you have to wash your sprayer. If not, like, if you're using it constantly, maybe after months, probably the filter should be changed, you see. And this is what we've got. Like, this one is where you get the kit for the foam sprayers, okay, would be for the foam 1.5, Mikael's favorite, and Foam Pro 2, right? Then we've got the content identifier system. These are not the ones from the triggers, but okay, I think we have it here. Or this one, you see, is what you put here.
Correct.
It's also, you can also keep your foam in, what do you call, the mixers. The mix, depending you want I'll let Mikael take it. Depending you want to use the dry foam, the wet foam, or the intermediate foam, you can also keep it in there. It's like a storage also, okay?
You can. I tell people
Right,
to not
yeah.
store the felts in there though, unless you put them in a baggie, because once the felts get wet, right, you don't want that. So store the felts elsewhere, but store your different types of foaming tips inside within the actual handle. It works great.
That's it. That's
Yep.
it. And then we've got also, for the different sprayers, the bigger ones, the smaller ones, all the parts you need to replace, because after a constant use, you usually have to change the spare parts.
Right, it's a tool, you maintain it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to maintain it if you want to keep it working as first day. So this is something we talk about a lot, like have to do it, right?
We really appreciate that you guys offer the spare parts because not all manufacturers do that.
No, and I think that was one of the strongest point of IK, that we provide a professional tool, and you don't really need to throw it away. If it's something wrong, you can get the spare part you need. And this is something that a lot of people appreciate. I thought that the United States was country where people like, to use it once and throw it away. But we have every day we have people asking for spare parts. Where can I get this small gasket or this O-ring? Yeah.
We still have Foam 9 lovers, the IK Foam 9.
There is a lot of IK Foam 9 lovers, yeah.
They want to keep going with Foam 9. And it's something that happens with our products that usually they don't want to change it. It just, if I can do something to fix it, I want to keep
we call those legacy products where they just kind of keep living on. Yeah.
Live on now, very, very long.
I will say, unfortunately, we're running out of time here, but I really appreciate everybody for having participated in this. Thank you so much to all of you. And thank you, Anthony, for directing here in the studio as well.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a little bit of a commercial break coming up, but after that, we'll be dipping into some more action. So, without further ado, here we go. Hello, and welcome to the promo for the Rag Company Podcast. That's right, I'm Dane Hennen. I'm your host of the Rag Company Podcast, as well as our weekly Q&As that appear on the Rag Company YouTube channel. Now, if you're looking for the podcast, you gotta head over to the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel. That's right, we've got a few channels, but if you subscribe to them all, you will not miss your Rag Company content, your Rag Company action. I know you love it, that's why you're watching this. So if you're not familiar with it, you should go check it out. We talk about detailing, we talk about cars, we talk about what we did over our weekends. It's just a chance to get to know, the folks at TRC a little bit better. Go to the Rag Company Podcast channel, go to the Rag Company Company YouTube channel for the Q&As, and just in general, enjoy, like a warm blanket. It's friendship. It's just something that you wear over yourself and you say, gee, this is nice. So we really want you to hang out with the Rag Company crew one way or another, be it the podcast or the Q&A. I'm inviting you, and I know Levi and Anthony are right behind the camera saying the same thing. So if you haven't already, make sure you go and subscribe to the Rag Company podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Rag Company YouTube channel, where we do our Q&As. It's just fun. We want to have you around. We want you to submit your comments. Let us know how things are going. We're all hanging out. It's a good time. And we all learn a bit more about detailing in cars in the process. Now, I will say, when it comes to the podcast, we're not just on YouTube. We're also on Stitcher, Spotify, any of your other audio platforms. Make sure you check, because we should be on there. And if we aren't, let us know, and we'll do our best to get on there as well. With all that said, we just want to say thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again. Hey guys, hey, and you know what? Next up, we got ourselves some Colourlock, so let's see what that's all about.
Wir sind auch schon da in der...
Wow. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Colourlock, some of my best friends in the industry. I've got Ram up in the UK, and I've got Lars in the studio in Germany. You guys are both on with me right now. So
hey,
Ram,
Levi.
And first things first, I got to say happy birthday, Ram. He was here early in the year prior to COVID. He got to spend my birthday with me, so I was very excited to have both him and Lars here to celebrate my birthday. Brother, I wish I was there with you, being able to celebrate your birthday. So just wanted to let you know.
Thank you so much, Levi. Thanks for the lovely wishes, and I think I speak for Lars as well. We would have both loved to be there in person, but obviously given all of that's going on, we can't be and do what we got to do, but we're still here virtually. Yep. And before we go any further, I have to say I've been catching every bit of action that I can look at for the TRCMA, and my God, you guys have done an amazing job. So well done to you guys.
Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Lars, are you getting set up, or what's up, man?
Lars, you there?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
Oh, hi guys. How's it going?
It's good,
happy
man.
to see you. Happy to see you. And yeah, I did also a live session at the same time with a German follower on Facebook. So I have here my camera. So I'm sharing across the global. Thank you for inviting us. I'm very happy to be part of this awesome event. Thanks, Levi, and the whole TRC group.
You're welcome, brother. We appreciate it. So what do you got in store for us and our viewers at home today?
Right, okay, so we've got a couple of new products that we thought this would be the perfect time to feature. And the products that we are introducing or we're going to be showing you, one of them is called a aniline and nubuck cleaner. So aniline leather, which is porous, usually it's very prone to staining. And like that VW seat that you see in the US, the Ford King Ranch leather is very common. We get a lot of inquiries from customers saying, look, it's stained. Is there anything that you have that we can clean it, refresh it? So up until now, our solution was just that you've got to repaint it professionally, right? But we've been working on a few things in the background, and we've now got these products here that we're going to show you, which will allow you to clean quite a lot of the staining on this type of leather, and also refresh the existing color on them.
awesome. Well, I just know from experience, years of being a detailer, when Ford launched that style of leather in the US, it was really the only vehicle at the time that had that leather, and it was an absolute nightmare because people didn't know how to care for it, they didn't know how to clean it, they didn't know how to protect it. And so to have something like that finally is going to be a godsend, especially to the used car market where those King Ranch leather seats are still in and out in the market, And they're customs that are being, custom car manufacturers are starting to move towards that aniline leather for just the beauty of it. And so I'm excited to see what you guys got there. So,
excellent. Lars, over to you.
Take it away, brother.
Yeah, I'm here. That's great. So what we have is we tried to get a King Ranch interior in Germany. What was not possible for us to do. It's very, very hard. So we found just one car, and Ford Expedition with a King Ranch. They call it King Ranch, but it was not this open pore leather.
Yeah.
And the second car was a F150 with 320,000 kilometers. So what is in miles?
Yeah.
Something 250,000 miles or something like this. In a worse condition. And but also this was not to get. But what we have here is the individual interior from a Touareg, from a Volkswagen Touareg, a VW Touareg. And this is also open pores or porous leather. So the same issues, the same problems. It is not completely open pores. It is just this brown part, the gray or anthracite part is a pigmented leather. Okay. And I was thinking to get this clear in the front, I had a pigmented leather here, and I have a open pores leather here, and I have a lens, and I will try to go closer to the camera and to show you the different, just that the people understand what I mean. So because a pigmented leather has a primer, pigment, and a clear coat on the surface, and the aniline leather is just tinted, is no color, no waterproofing, nothing else on the top. And this is also by the King Ranch leather, the same thing. And to understand this a little bit better, I will try to show you on the camera what it means when it's an open pore leather. I mean, this is also something what we talk about.
Yeah, there we can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can see
so
that.
You can see all the holes. Yeah, this is all the holes. So this is a real aniline leather. All the holes what you have seen right now is the holes from
where the hairs used to be, right?
Yeah.
Before from the fern, huh? From the fern. So that is a typical pigmented leather. So what you will find normally in a BMW, in a Mercedes, but all the US cars also. So you see just the grain and color, no pores, nothing like this. Yeah.
So all the dots basically that you saw on the other leather is basically just covered on the pigmented leather.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, and we have at this situation this open pore leather, and this means that everything can sucks in straight away. Even water will make stains. Yeah, and it makes sense when you get it brand new. You can seal it. You can seal it with the leather with a Colourlock leather sealer. Yeah. Yep. You can seal it with a waterproofing spray from us, with a Colourlock waterproofing spray. Mm-hmm. What you will find in the rack company co-branding system, you will find it in the sneaker cleaner kit.
Yep. There's the waterproofer.
Yeah, there's a waterproofing spray. So you can use this just to prepare to seal it the leather before you use it the first time. So when you get it brand new, so that is something what you can do. And you can do, if you like to have it a little bit more shiny also, if you fine with this, then you can use, of course, elephant preserver fat also is something what will help you on a King Ranch or on this kind of leather. Yeah. But when you don't do this, or you buy a used car, for example, or something like this, and you have this kind of condition here, so then we start to think about. I mean, this already for a couple of years a professional way how to restore, how to clean, and. But this, not everybody wants to set up the full range of professional products. Maybe book a training and. So we was looking for a more easy way, and to get this, we create a new product, what called aniline and Nabac cleaner. And aniline Nabac cleaner is a water-based, but you have a problem with when you take a normal leather cleaner. So our mild, for example, was a strong leather cleaner. You take another from other, make your open pores leather, the water will suck in and you will get water stains, And the aniline and Nabac cleaner is designed that you don't get this kind of water stains. How it works, I can't tell you the whole details, of course, but the main reason is that the soap is based on plants, not on animal grease and bones. So it is a vegetable based product, what is very well connected to the water, and this is a little bit the reason why it works. And on top, so when you clean it, but the color is maybe faded, or you can't clean it completely, you don't get all stains outside or something like this, or you want to get the real deep color back. We designed also, the most people know leather fresh. That is to refresh pigmented color or semi-aniline leather. And now we designed the aniline fresh. It looks like similar. The dot here, the yellow from the egg is darker. So aniline fresh. And now the ask mostly, when you clean and product, with the open port. So you see here, I don't know if I'm too close on the camera. It's okay?
No, I can see.
So you
yep.
prepared already. I will show you live. I will do a 50-50 on the seat, that you see how to use it.
Yeah.
That's the result there, right? On the left-hand side, that's the clean part, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's cleaned and refreshed, and this is the dirty side. And I will show you that after cleaning and tinted,
it still remains porous. So you're not really changing the character of the leather. You've still got the original leather type as such, but just in a clean and refreshed state.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's cool.
Open pores.
Yeah. So there's still pores there, which is, so it's not sealed now, like where you would normally see with the normal.
Your standard automotive leather,
Yeah. That's been painted and coated and all that. So that's cool. So it still allows that leather to breathe. It's still got the porousness of it. It's still the reason for purchasing. So basically, like the reason people like buying that type of leather is, remember, it's an upgrade or it's an option. It's a luxury item to have that. And so to then, kind of have to, the only way is either it just deteriorates or, you have to repaint it or re-dye it. That's not always the best thing, but to be able to restore it by cleaning it and then protecting it with the aniline nubuck protector is a really big improvement and refreshes that leather. So those of you detailers at home, this is a game-changing product for a lot of us, especially here in the United States, to be able to do that. And I know around the world.
Because it is to clean, more complicated to care for it, that it stays and but this kind of has also a lot of benefits. That it is very soft, much as it's warm, because it is so it get always from so when you it also here on pigmented leather you have to get sun on it like this. So the pores aniline leather has really
Lars, you're kind of cutting out in and out here. So Ram, could you explain a little more? Lars is kind of cutting out.
Yeah, so basically what Lars was saying is that, aniline leather is very breathable in its natural state, right? And in most cases, when you apply any paint on the surface, you end up covering the pores and thereby reducing the breathability of the surface, right? So the advantage of this product is, not only does it allow you to clean and restore it, but even by applying the paint, which is the aniline fresh that we've just developed as well. So that's in addition to the cleaner. So you clean it first, but then you use the aniline fresh to restore the color as well. And even after you do that, it's still a very breathable material.
Yeah,
which is crucial.
That's one of the neatest things is, like I said, it's a game-changing product because, like we said in the past, you either couldn't fix it or you would repair it, but you'd have to either seal it and actually like paint it, re-dye it, or you would use saddle dyes, which didn't have the ability to have a protectant put over it, so you would lose that.
Yeah, and in most cases, if you apply a paint, you sort of lose the warm touch that this type of leather has, right?
Exactly.
It almost starts feeling a bit plastic-like, whereas with this product, we've avoided that as well. So in the main, you're bringing back and really restoring the leather and getting it back to as close as possible to its original state.
That's awesome. So I want to go find myself a King Ranch seat. I'm going to have to start looking on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and some of the online scrapyards and see if I can find a King Ranch seat just so we can get it in here, because I'm itching to play with this product when I get it and be able to try it myself. We'll make a video for all of you guys at home. But yeah, so Lars, sounds like you're back. We got you. We can hear you.
Is my sound back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, I want to take the Colourlock tape because I have to do advertising also, but
that's right.
it's too sticky and it will damage the leather. So I will take the normal tape because I will do a 50-50 that we really see the different. And I know detailers love 50-50. So
that's right.
Maybe normally not on the feet, but.
Right, so while Lars is doing that, I just wanted to say, Levi, that I'm keeping an eye on the YouTube chat, and I'll try and respond to a lot of the people who are putting questions out, so we can sort of burn those out at the same time.
Awesome, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right,
so
cool.
Dane, if you're listening, did you hear that? So Ram's going to be also taking care of those of you in the chat. He'll be able to answer some questions. And then I think Dane may pull up a couple of questions here and there as we go, popping them on the screen for folks. So
cool. If that's okay, that is. I don't want to interrupt the flow.
No. Yeah, you can jump in, and we're gonna enjoy watching Lars build this 50-50 on this seat, and you guys are gonna get to see full-on demo, real live demo in person, which is what the Rag Company Media Access is all about. So
beautiful.
So when are we expecting this product to be available?
Well, it's ready to roll out pretty much. So I think it's just a case of getting it in stock for us here in the UK to supply in the US. I think we're probably talking about a week, 10 days for us to get it in stock.
Sweet. And then so once you get it, then we'll get it. So we should be right before December. We should be able to have it available for sale here in the US. So super excited to be able to have that. So.
Yeah, I mean, one of the questions that I see here on YouTube is by Tom Kirby, who says the new aniline leather cleaner then would be useful for the home leather couch and chairs as well.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So this product and the new recoloring system as well, the new recoloring product, that would be absolutely useful for aniline leather sofas, aniline leather chairs, as well as automotive leather. So any aniline leather, really, it will work 100%. But obviously, the key thing is, as always, is going to be making sure that we get the color match right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. What's the next one on there?
And as you say these, Ram, I can populate these on the screen. I apologize. I may cover your face.
No. Don't worry about that. That's fine. That's fine. I'm just going through the next stuff of questions. Umberta saying happy birthday. Ram, thank you, Umberta. Appreciate it.
There were a lot of happy birthdays in there for you.
I know. I'm gonna ignore them as much as I want to talk about myself.
Yeah, just read them all. Just all the happy birthday messages for Ram.
So kind. I mean, at least Functional Doc here said thanks for the help in the past, in addition to happy birthday. So that was nice.
Oh, I missed that. Thank you. All right. So Hans is saying, what grit is best for sanding leather when doing a recolor job? I mean, we've got 4,000 is sort of in between sort of spraying paint layers. Yeah. But I think if you're in the prep stage and you really want to sort of level off any high spots or rough areas, then we've got our sanding pad. Lars, what sort of grit would you say is our sanding pad? About, is it 400, 500?
In the oven.
Okay, I think
this is the blue one is. I mean, it's on a sponge, so it's always a little bit more softer than it's real, the grain, you know. But it is it's around about 400, 500, something.
Okay.
Like this,
yeah.
So 400 or 500 grain is a good one. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Lars, are you ready to?
I mean, leather is so strong you can't remove so much. So when you go here over, you really just remove less. You just touch the surface, no? Nothing more.
Yeah, it's a light touch.
Yeah.
Well, in aniline, we were saying, Ram, is actually like, you're getting the top grain of the leather, right? Because you're basically, they've removed the hairs and what you have is the actual grain. And so that's very thick. What most people don't realize, you have a lot of material there to work with, which is one of the reasons why it's such a premium product for car
and usually doesn't. They choose the highest grade of leather when it comes to using aniline leather. And if there are any imperfections, they're considered to be part of the leather and character of the leather.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now I did have a question here from Functional Doc.
It's around about 25% of the full amount of hides what going from the slut house to a tannery is good enough that you can use it for aniline leather. So 75% you have to do something else with it. So it is like the reason for the high price is mainly based on that it's just raw,
Yeah, it's more rare. It's more, like you're saying. So
it's
if
more
you guys,
rare,
out of say 100% of the, let's say 100 cows and they're hot, only 25 of them are going to be able to be good enough to be used for aniline, where the other 75%, they have to condition, they have to fill, they have to pigment, they have to do a lot because the hides aren't always that, able to be used for aniline. So it's a very rare leather in and of itself, which brings the price up on it. So, all right. So Lars, what are you going to be doing?
I start with cleaning. So and this is something normally when people know how to clean an open pores leather like this, they will be shocked now a little bit and say, "Oh my God, what this guy is doing? He do it completely wet." But this is the new thing. What you can do with the aniline and Nabak cleaner, you really can clean it wet and do it more and less like how you do it with a normal pigmented leather. You can go over this, and of course it sucks in. It comes darker because it's wet. But when you give him the time to dry by himself, it will be dry without any stains. And also you can see here that I remove some dirt. And can you see it on the camera? I don't know. More or less, no? And here's still one stain, so I will remove this stain here, go again.
You're using a foam sponge there to scrub, right?
Easy. What do you mean?
You're using the sponge, right? to scrub?
I use a sponge, yes. So
Yeah.
because when you go with a brush over it, we had sometimes by the testing that you roughen a little bit the surface, and the sponge is strong enough. It's fine. You don't have jeans dye transfer or something like this, so
Right.
you don't need a brush normally to clean an aniline leather.
Because it's so delicate, that's why you're using the sponge. It's never going to have all those
Yeah,
uses.
the sponge is just a little more gentle, So
Yeah. And Lars is so right. Like traditionally anyone sort of looking at, and we're going to have to change what we advise from here on as well, because, we've always said if it's aniline leather, don't clean it with any water-based cleaners, because there's a risk of staining it. But obviously here, that's exactly what we're doing. But as Lars explained earlier, it's just the formulation of the product, the way it's been designed. It's clever in the fact that it doesn't leave any stain and still allows you to really scrub the surface, which, just wasn't possible before.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, the really nice thing is when you can clean it on this way, it's more clean, So
Yeah.
it feels more that you really did a proper cleaning. That is also the way before was also proper, but maybe it doesn't feel like this because you are normally used to use a liquid or foam or something like this to clean something,
Yeah.
And in terms of drying time from this point on, Lars, because I can see it's all wet, is it okay to use a heat gun or a hairdryer or something to dry it? Or would you say allow it to dry naturally?
It's better to dry naturally so that you give the leather time.
Yeah.
But it's not worse when you use a heat gun. So that's the reason why I have one here. And I also don't want to make it too boring for everybody. And I need the heat gun also later for the...
We're just waiting and chatting.
Yeah. That's all right. So as they said, normally it's good to let that aniline dry naturally, but in the instance of time and production, it's okay to use a heat gun, which is why Lars is doing that. So, you're breaking rules here, guys, and this is awesome. So I love this. Like I said, I'm itching. I wish I could have a King Ranch seat here and just follow along. Super excited with this, though. So because
Fantastic.
a lot of trucks, there are a lot. I was going to tell you guys, in the U.S. there are a lot of trucks, and that's one of the new features. It's not just the King Ranch. The Toyota has like an 1890 edition or something like that, and that has some aniline leather inserts in it. I think some of the Ram Longhorn editions have aniline inserts.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a lot
true.
of different versions of trucks that are current out in the market. Ford did switch to a pigmented leather just because of the fact that when they went full aniline at the time back in I think 2003 is when they started producing aniline leather for the King Ranches. It would just destroy the leather.
People weren't ready for it.
Yeah, the used car market just was like, what do we do? We get these trucks that are a high-end model that still are carrying their weight, price-wise, but the seats really brought it down. And so it was a big scramble to try and figure out, I know myself and other detailers around tried to do their best with what we had, without the information. I think we're calling.
Well, I've got a really interesting question here from Functional Doc. He says, what are the major changes that you've been seeing in automotive leather? Like, are they thinner, or is it a different dye chemistry, or what is it? I mean, Lars would probably add more to it, but from in my opinion, what I'm seeing is obviously a clear use of substitute materials in non-contact areas. So leather-like surfaces, leather-like materials being used for like door cards, the back of the seat, the sides, the side flanks and everything. That's all old vinyl, you know, and there's nothing wrong with it, you know, but it just means that it's just something that people need to be aware of. And if you're buying a car, just make sure you ask and be absolutely sure of what you're getting, because there's no laws or regulations preventing manufacturers per se to not disclose all the information.
Right.
You know.
Ah, the soothing sounds of the heat gun.
So I don't want to stress you too much with the heat gun, and so it's not completely dry. You still see some darker versions, but to do this to show how it works, that's still fine. I have also the sanding pad here. If you have some rough areas, you can also sand down on an aniline laser to get a softer surface. Also, here's a little bit rough, so don't feel scary to do this. This is really a good option to get rough areas soft. So the idea is not to get a good connecting to the aniline fresh. The idea is to get rough areas soft.
Right.
And this is the same thing what we do also by pigmented leather, no?
Yep.
Yeah. And then it makes sense to wipe off with a leather cleaning spirit to the degreaser, how we call it in the co-branding products, to wipe off all the dust. Yeah.
Yep.
This is in the steering wheel kit.
Yeah. I think it's
for example, Levi, is it?
Pull it out.
Is it inside?
Bottle of it.
Yeah.
The degreaser there.
That's a 225 mil. Sorry, I don't know how much in ounces this is.
It's about 7 ounces, a little over 7 ounces, just under 8 ounces. But you don't need a lot.
Okay.
A lot goes a long way because it is a solvent and it is a degreasing solvent. It removes all the grease, the wax, silicones off the seat and gets them really ready to accept.
Yeah.
I mean, just like if you guys think it's like a paint prep product for your paint, you know, before we put protection, your protection's allowed to bond better when the surface is clean. And so even though we've cleaned it, and that's what Lars has done with the aniline cleaner, he is now using the degreaser to really make sure it's clean. So
Bang on.
Yeah.
All right. Now the exciting stuff.
And it's a very gentle solvent. I mean, there's a lot of symbols on the backside.
yeah.
But this is just by the regulation, and that's the same in Europe and US also. But this solvent is very gentle. It doesn't remove clear coat. It doesn't remove paint. It doesn't make any issues on plastic like acetone. When you come with acetone on
Right.
a plastic part, you have it straight away gray. Then you need solution finish, for example.
Yep.
But or leather fresh works also on plastic. And then but the leather cleaning spirit or the degreaser from Colourlock is very gentle, no? I mean, it makes sense to, when you work daily with this, use cloths, care for your skin, but normally you don't need it. So the aniline fresh, you can spray it, of course, but we want to show a way that everybody can do this. So we will apply with a sponge. And the first thing is so do section for section. Don't do the whole seat in one step. So do section for section. First, wipe it on it, and then dab it.
Okay.
And with the dab it, you get also this typical cloudy effect what you have on an aniline leather, because aniline leather is of the reason it is porous, it's not painted, so it is it's not uniform in the color, you know.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's got like a two-tone mottled effect look, you know. So
Right.
it's got like multiple colors showing through it, which is what this product also keeps that.
Yeah.
Right, because aniline leather has just got a lot of dye on the surface, not pigment, and dye, obviously, as you guys know, it penetrates all the way through.
Right.
So dye is just paint on the surface, has more coverage, so it's got a solid color, whereas dye leaves a two-tone effect. So this product keeps that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of the difference for those of you at home kind of wondering, put it in layman's terms, when you're painting your house or you're going to actually paint, you're putting a layer of a color over, say the natural wood siding. You're changing the color. However, if you're going to be staining like your deck, that stain still allows the natural look and characteristic of the wood but still adding that protection over the top of it. So that we're doing the same thing with an aniline leather it's still allowing, like you said, Ram, it's allowing that natural color of the leather to still show through because it's a dye and it's not a paint. Like we're doing, like you would do on a normal seat.
Product. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Well, it preserves the character, which is a reason you get a seat like that.
Exactly.
It's true.
Now, we do have a few more comments here if you want to get those, Ram.
Put some up.
This one's actually maybe a Levi question.
Okay.
Sorry, Ram, I'll butt in on this one just to throw it up there. Functional Doc wants to know, will TRC ever carry the leather wipes?
That is a great question. I love the leather wipes. I grabbed a bunch from TRCMA last year from Ram and Lars, and I think I finally used my last one the other day, and I think I gave it to Nate for him. But it is one of those products we'll have to look into bringing those on because I really like those products. I think they're great. So, especially
Levi
for your
approved, so you got
wheel.
that.
I mean, you think about it, steering wheel, shifter, especially if it's leather wrapped or your leather wrapped steering wheel, especially during these times. It's a nice handy dandy wipe after you've, hand sanitized to be able to use that to clean your steering wheel while then also protecting and not damaging the leather wrapped steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In an ideal scenario, you should just be able to keep it in your glove box or somewhere where you can just reach for it very easily if you were to spill something or anything like that as well, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah, quick access.
Well, I'll tell you, my kids, we hand back the bottle of sanitizer when they're, say we're out at the grocery store, we hand it back, and I'm always cringing watching my kids pour hand sanitizer on their hands and watch it drop onto the seat, and I'm grabbing a towel and throwing it back and wipe it up. So,
oh no.
Yeah, that's one of the things. It's just the beauty of having children. So having some leather wipes would be good to be able to make sure they wipe it down and protect it. So, and I know I'm sure many people at home have dealt with that over these last few months. So.
No doubt. Now here's one from Juan, All Season Detail. Going to cover Ram's face again. Seems to be a trend here. You could just sit up a little higher, Ram. That ought to do it. There you go, peeking out from behind it. We got All Season Detail saying, when you play the color, is it okay to spray paint it, or is it much better with sponge on this kind of material? So I'm trying to decipher what he's saying there.
I think when he's saying when you mix the color.
Spray.
Oh, gotcha.
So is it okay to spray? So on that, we were just talking, you can spray that, but what Lars is doing right now is showing you, if you don't have an air compressor, you're doing this at home, for those of you that maybe pick up the kit and want to fix your seats from home, this is the method you would use if you don't have an air compressor in your garage or your shop or anything like that. Shows how anyone. So let's say Kirby Thompson at home, maybe he has an aniline chair, high back chair or something. This is another method that he could use without dragging an air compressor and painting it and stuff, or taking it out of the garage. Because, it's for some of us, it's a little more difficult to move furniture around. So
Sure.
this is something that Kirby could do in his living room, at home while he's watching some TV, enjoying it, hanging out by the fire, so.
Now, I have a question about that. So let's say you have both methods side to side. You compare them. You've seen a lot of these, Ram, Lars. Would you say that the results are comparable going one way or the other, or is there a noticeable difference? Just, different experience levels, people trying this out. What way tends to work out better, though?
Is your question specific to this type of leather or just leather repair in general?
I guess it could be a A and a B question. So let's start with this type and then broader.
Yeah. So with this type of leather, what we found is there's a lot of this type of leather. Now, obviously, this is not just looking at the automotive sector, various other areas as well. There's a lot of this stuff around, and it's great to have it, but it's an absolute pain if you were to spill something on it, which if you've got a surfer at home and if you've got kids or anyone around, an accident's just waiting to happen. And you've then ruined what otherwise would have been a very, very good seat. So yes, it's very easy to do. You don't really need a great deal of skill level. And in most cases, people can just email us photos, or, we're happy to sort of show them the way, and guide them along as to how it needs to be done. So for this particular issue, it's very, very easy. But if you were to spray it, I'd imagine it'd be a lot quicker.
Okay, no, that makes sense. And I actually had a previous question here from Mike L. He got kind of pushed down in the comments, but I wanted to make sure and give him a chance here. He reminded me very helpfully. So I'm going to throw this up on the screen here.
Okay.
And he was just asking, probably Ram here, because Lars looks a little busy, tips for a Volkswagen 2016 GTI leather care. So a 2016 Golf GTI. What, pro tip would you give to somebody who has one?
Right, so if it's a 2016 car, it's been about 4 years, right? So you want to look at what the condition of the bolster is. If it doesn't have heavy soiling on it, just use the mild leather cleaner to clean it very gently. And then, on that driver's seat bolster, applying the leather sealant, which Levi, you've got that on the table there. Yep. That is an absolute must, because that will stop the bolster wearing off, as you get in and out of the car. And in addition to that, you can also apply a product called the leather protector, which will prevent fading. So those are 3 products that I would keep in my arsenal to look after that type of leather. And of course, if you've got further issues with it, so if there's like a bit of color damage or whatever, then of course you're going to need additional products. But in the main, and to keep it sort of simple, you need a brush, mild leather cleaner, clean it gently, apply leather shield on the driver's seat bolster area, and apply leather protector additionally if you want to prevent sort of UV fading and to keep it soft and supple as well.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. And that's pretty much what I got right now, but you guys go ahead. If you got something you want to cover topic-wise, go for it.
Now I'm just noticing that's looking good over there.
Yeah, I'm already seeing the difference here on camera.
Yeah, that's looking good.
Yeah. Lars, where are we at with it? That's almost looks like it's done.
It's like a toasted bun.
No, it needs one more layer to get it more even. So, but I'm really I don't know how good I'm in the time or not, but
you're good.
No, you're fine.
We got about 12 minutes left in this session, so you're all right.
Yeah, then I can do it proper.
Yep.
Well, and it's just lunch after this, so we don't have to push to anyone else.
Yeah.
No, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, the beauty about this is also the touch of the product, right? Lars, maybe we need to talk about that. Like, how does it alter the touch of the surface once you apply the product?
I missed the first part. What you say? Sorry.
Sorry, no, I said once you've applied the aniline fresh on the surface, on the seat, does it change the touch of the surface in any way?
No, really, really less. But that is the reason why I have the 4000 here. When it's dry, we will polish a little bit the surface to make it more soft with a polish pad. And after this, we will apply aniline cream, or in this case here, elephant. What helps also to it will protect the leather, will protect the new layer of dye on it, and it will help to have a nice touch. So elephant precursor fat is really the product what will help you to get a nice aniline touch, or keep the touch. But the leather will be still softened, because the aniline fresh is really a product what is not like the leather fresh covering everything over it. It is, as Levi explained, completely correct. It is more a dye, and it doesn't, how I show you in the beginning, it still pours. So you don't have too much changing in the touch. It's a very powerful dye what is here inside, what helps to get this color back. But it doesn't cover. It's not a thick layer on it or something like this that you get a painting feeling or something like this. So we really designed the product so that you still have an aniline touch even. No?
Yeah.
Now, I do have a question here for you guys, if I can throw that in the mix here from Detail Dude. I'll pop that on the screen right now. And this is one I've heard you guys bring up when it talk about the pH of the leather. Now, okay, so I've seen people using diluted APC on leather interiors. I always thought it was dangerous because of the pH. Am I right? Or are there some instances where you can use APC?
So in my opinion, I wouldn't choose an APC purely because I think the side effects of something like that, if you get the dilution wrong, if you get the dilution ratio wrong, the side effects could be quite drastic. You could remove the top coat, but I've known people to use it as well without any issues. But there's, with an APC, you always run the risk of, if the dilution ratio is not right, you don't know how much top coat or clear coat the leather has on the surface. So without testing those things, I personally think you shouldn't be using it. But people do use it, and there's not been issues. But that's my take on it. But definitely, when it comes to the pH, I mean, Lars, I'll let you speak about the pH more in depth. But on average, I mean, leather has a pH of about 4.5, 5. And a mild leather cleaner should have a pH of about 5, 5.5. And that gives you that balance of making sure that you get good cleaning action, but at the same time, you're using a very gentle product. Leather doesn't need anything harsher than that. Gentle product,
right.
And cleaning once a year very heavily is not what leather needs. Just look after it every now and then, and that's all you really need to do. And most people neglect that. And that's why they tend to have issues.
Well, and it's one of those things that a lot of detailers are always looking for, a cheaper alternative or a cheaper way to get a car clean. And so that's a very easy option because they're already buying 5 gallons of all-purpose cleaner that they're using to wash the car, to clean rubber, to clean, plastics, to do all that. So it's a very simple way where a lot of folks, and we were guilty of this for a long time with Power Clean. Power Clean is probably the safest all-purpose cleaner around, but it is still have a very high pH. It's a pH of 12 or 14. I mean, it's a very strong product, and we've always said a 30-to-1 dilution. It will clean leather and it's okay, but you're right. If you mess up that dilution or you're not paying attention, I've seen guys that have on Facebook in some of the groups that have taken, a cleaner from the dollar store and they use that to clean leather, and it is nightmarish. So really educating yourself on leather. It's the same thing as those of you that educate yourselves on paintwork, on, wheel finishes, on, how to clean rubber properly, how to take, we've all educated ourselves going through as we've been detailing cars. But the one thing that people seem to overlook is proper leather care. And leather is a very big component of most vehicles. And so it's surprising to me that there are still detailers who don't know. And I was the same way. I took one of Lars and Ram's training classes, and I learned more about leather. It was my 40th birthday present to myself in a way, was I'm going to learn about leather. And I felt very dumb that I didn't know all the things about leather that Lars and Ram taught me. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I should have done this 20 years ago.
That's why you take the class.
So for those of you that are watching, it is a very unique part. There's so many of us now that look at clear coat and know how to handle clear coat. There's so many of us that know, how to polish paint properly. But to really clean leather the right way and protect it the right way, you really got to do your research. And there's no better, people in the world than Colourlock. To teach you that. And I truly mean that and truly say it, not only because they're my friends and we sell their products, but I've known these guys for a long time before we even sold their products, and it is a real life. This is what they do. This is all they do. So
the only thing what I do, it's really 24/7 is looking after leather, looking for leather, doing leather care, and that beginning from my 17 age, so really long time. But appreciate it for these warm words, Levi, and always enjoying to have a conversation with you guys. So what I did now was, you don't need a heat gun. You can use also a normal hairdryer, or you can use, or you just wait, or live in Florida or California where it's anyhow warm. What I want to say is you don't need a heat gun. I use now a heat gun, a proper heat gun, but you don't need it. You can use also a hairdryer, or just wait that the paint dry by himself, and then apply a next layer, and it just needs more time. And when it's dry, then you take the 4000 sanding pad to polish the surface, just to get it more even, to get it more softer, what I was talking before. And after this, you don't have to wipe the dust, because the dust is so less. You don't have to go after when you polish with the sanding pad 4000, you don't have to wipe any dust, so you don't need the degreaser again or something like this. And after this, you can apply aniline cream is one product what you can apply. I prefer the Elephant Leather Preserver Fat. This is a product what is older than Colourlock. Colourlock is 25 years. This product is now 31 years old. This is created and formula by our founder of the company, Lederzentrum in Colourlock. So it's a very awesome product. Was already used also in the Monkey Garage and a lot of places. So and that gives the final touch and the final gloss. So, and if you don't want it on this semi-gloss, when you say, no, I want it more matte, what is not really natural for a porous leather, but it is modern at the moment to have a matte leather. Let it suck in over the night and wipe it on the next day with a gentle microfiber. Then you can reduce the gloss from the surface, and then you have a matte one. But you really cares well for your leather. You give him everything back to keep it softened, and to give all the, what's the correct wording, Ram? To give the fat and softener and what leather needs.
To just supply the oils and the conditioning that the leather needs, right? Yeah. And it's and that's where that product is very, very good, very, very good. And I genuinely mean that.
I mean, you see really.
I mean, look at that. That's the 50, before and after.
It looks fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, that is, I mean, that's a huge difference. And to have something that, previously you couldn't clean it. Now, look at that. I mean, that's...
It looks new.
Holy cow.
That looks straight up new.
But it looks also natural, And,
yeah, it looks...
I mean, I can't show you on the camera how the touch is, but trust me, guys, the touch is really like a open porous leather. It's really... It doesn't feel painted. It is very soft and warm, flexible, and it's just nice. And a very common question always when we do repairs like this is how long does it last? So it's of course independent how you use the car. No? If it's a weekend driver, it will last longer than a daily driver, of course. But it will stay longer than before. So the leather, the open pore leather, how you get it from the tannery is mostly not waterproofed. It's mostly nothing on the surface. Is nothing on it. We protect it now with the leather. So one thing with the aniline fresh, because there's some protecting products also inside and sealing chemicals who seal it a little bit, the leather, but it's still open pores, it's still breathing. And with the Elephant on top, we seal it on top. So it is it will last longer than the original one. That is what I really can honestly say to this question. But it's hard to give a number to say 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, because it's really independent. Are you in California, always sun, or are you in Chicago, not so often sun? Is it a daily driver? Is it a convertible, not a convertible? You know, there's a lot of different
a lot of variables.
Things what will affect how long it lasts. So, but I can say longer than the original one.
Perfect.
For sure.
That's good.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Wonderful.
I think there's just one other question there.
Yeah, go for it.
Can we just run through that? That was just by Juan, who wanted to know about the proper methods to clean and how safe, if it is at all safe, to steam clean leather. Right. So, is it okay to steam clean leather?
Yeah.
And what is the best way to clean leather if you're not using steam? Lars, do you want to take that one?
Yeah. So the best way is start with a gentle cleaner. So start with a mild. But when we speak about pigmented leather, what I guess is a question about it. Yeah, so it's not this special kind of leather what we have here. So start with a mild leather cleaner and a sponge. If this is not proper or it's not good enough, then mild leather cleaner and a brush. If this is not good enough, strong leather cleaner and a sponge. If this is not hard enough, then strong leather cleaner and a brush. If this is not hard enough, strong leather cleaner and a brush. And before you go to the surface, use Dane. How we call
denim
it?
stain remover.
Yeah,
denim stain remover.
Yep.
Yeah. So in Germany we call it ELD Lösung. So completely different words. Or that sometimes I have to think what is the American way. So steam cleaner. You have to know what the guy do in a tannery is. They do a connecting between the tannery, with chrome, for example, water and fat. They connect it together. So they connect water and fat with a chemical in the middle, or when it's vegetable tanned, then with or not vegetable tanned, when it's vegan tanned, then they do some leaves extract or something to connect water and fat, what normally separates. So when you put oil on water, you get drops on the top of the water. It separates. Yeah, it's always separate. So what they do, they suck out the natural fat and put a synthetic fat inside of the leather, and they keep also water inside. And just when they have a connecting between water and oil or fat, what the chemical, the tannery chemical do, you have a leather what not rots, what is still soft and flexible. And that's also the reason why we give the leather some oil, some fat, or some synthetic fat like elephant to the leather over the years, because the fat dries out. And when you come with a steam cleaner, you have water dust, and you put water dust inside of the leather, and you change the balance between water and fat, and you have then more water inside. And water, when you have more water than fat, the leather will go on the long run hardener. It's nothing what you straight away see. It's a little bit like this what Chris West yesterday told to Anthony when he talked about use a heat gun for plastic. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
It's an awesome effect in the first moment, but on the long term, you will damage the plastic, and that is the same with the steam cleaner in leather. The first moment it cleans very well, it looks good, but on the long term, you will damage the leather. You will change the balance. You have too much water inside and not enough fat what is connecting to this water. So you have water what is connecting with the tannery chemical to the fat, what is perfect. That is what we want. That is what the tannery guys do. And when you put more water inside, when you use a steaming cleaner, you change the balance. And this leather, for sure, will not go over 20 years or 15 years. It will go harder before. And then you need old leather softener or liquor oil earlier, as you normally need. So we recommend, that is also why our cleaning bottles are foam spending bottles. that you don't use too much water, that you have
that balance is
foam
intact.
is not too wet, don't make your leather too wet. And that was also in the past the issue with porous leather when we clean it wet, was one the stains, but also the too much wetness inside. But you saw when I go over the porous leather, it doesn't dark so much up than when you use a normal leather cleaner, so makes it sense? Is something
No, it totally
understandable?
makes sense. Yeah,
And I think there's an example of that would be like if you leave your window open and rainwater just sort of, if you get some rainwater on your seats, and if it's just sitting there for a while, you'll see that it changes the structure a little bit. And that's just because too much water is just penetrated. So a similar sort of thing could happen with the steam cleaning. So you just want to avoid it. And leather doesn't need it. Just simple as that.
Yeah. There you go.
So, cool.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, seriously, guys, you've got to get on it. If you haven't checked out, you can go to the Colourlock YouTube page. If you boys want to plug your YouTube channel, there is a ton of information there. You can also pick up any of the Rag Company co-branded cleaning kits at theragcompany.com. Lots of great thought into each and every product. Ram, Lars, Colourlock on YouTube, Colourlock Instagram. Pass it on. Tell me about where do you want people to go?
Wherever. Well,
of course,
Colourlock, that's our website.
Colourlock Facebook, Colourlock YouTube. But also you can look on the company name is Lederzentrum. You can check out also there. I do also a little bit content on English, but I mean the main thing is on RAM, and that is everything with Colourlock.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, guys,
and I really, when somebody want to start do leather repair and leather restoring, I really can recommend to start with a steering wheel kit. So what you can get from the Rag Company shop, the steering wheel kit gives you a good instruction. We have a nice video on a BMW what we did, Ram and me together. So you really get all the steps, and that is something it's a very good product or very good kit from my point of view to start with this. So because you have the full process, you don't have a so big area, you can concentrate on it, you can work very proper, and you will get a nice result on a black steering wheel. So guys, if you are new in this kind of work or something like this, and you want to go inside and figure out if it's something for you, buy the steering wheel kit. It's not really expensive, and you get a lot of product, you get a good instruction, and then you can start. So I think
it's the gateway drug.
It is the gateway drug. Great way to segment that. Dane, anyway, Ram, Lars, thank you guys. Dane, take us home.
Yes, thank you, Ram. Thank you, Lars, for being here. We really appreciate it. And of course, it's been a morning full of education from IK Sprayers to Colourlock, and now we're going to have some lunch. So everybody here is going to dip out for some lunch real quick. Then after a couple hours, we will be coming back to you with another 2-hour block complete with LC power tools and Lake Country paths. So there's a lot to check out there, and I want you guys to stay tuned. And if you have any questions, by all means, go to TRCMA.com. That's where you'll find information about all of our vendors, as well as sponsors and the show schedule. So until we get back, we'll see ya.